Still heavy-hearted as stop number 2 on News 25's 25 teams in 25 days. Gulfport High School is still less than 3 weeks removed from the tragic loss of former Admiral Zay Crane, and yet exactly a month away from playing out the 2019 season in his honor. The Admirals are also playing for the right to drop Anchor in Region 4 Class 6A for a 3rd straight season as the reigning back-to-back district champs.
And now, News 25's 25 teams in 25 days, sponsored by Bienville Orthopedics.
It's nice to be on top, but it's hard to stay on top. So, you know, it's good to have a chip on your shoulder, helps you play better, and it's nice to know when people want to be us, want to be after us, want to be on top.
The Gulfport football program is a tale of two extremes heading into 2019. On the one hand, the Admirals are 16-0 in district games dating back to the end of 2016, running the table in each of the past 2 seasons.
Kind of feels like we have a target on our back, but I mean, each year we just gotta get ready for what they're gonna bring.
And despite having nothing left to prove in the regular season, the other hand, that being the postseason, is the one that's hard to explain. Gulfport is winless, 0-7 in first-round playoff games dating back to 2011.
We're all just ready to get it over with, win our first playoff game. We're ready, motivated than ever.
You know, you hate talking about it, but the same daunting thing that I remember. Just we can't. That first-round playoff loss to Pedal last year, and we just got to get over that hump, and that's our goal. You know, along with winning other games, but they'll take care of themselves when we get here. But I mean, we want to get over that hump when the time gets here.
Gone are the likes of TQ Newsom and Derek Hall to the Division I ranks, leaving that responsibility to the 17-member senior class of 2020, a close-knit group that prides itself on energy.
Class of 2020 has to go farther than any other class, trying to get to a state championship.
I feel like it's a lot of pressure because it's a lot of people who probably don't think the team is the same from last year. They probably think we're not as good, but to me, I believe that really we're just the same. We could do the same thing we did last year, even without the better players or seniors we had. You know, you got to crawl before you walk, so we were just going to build up and get better together.
That togetherness is a tribute to the late Zay Crane, now the angel to an Admiral football program hell-bent on attending to some unfinished business in his honor.
They took it to heart because they knew how important, you know, Admiral football was to Zay, and they've dedicated this season to him.
It's playing for him this season. We all know that he wanted to get out of the first round his senior year, so we're just trying to get to that goal.
These games are for him because I know this is what he's going to want. He would want us to go out there and kick some butt. So, you know, this is for Zay.
Coach Archie says he's most encouraged by his attendance numbers this summer, averaging about 80 players grades 9 through 12. The Admirals will kick things off against Stone on August 23rd as a part of the 3rd annual Port City Bowl. And, of course, long live Zay. Last year, the Ocean Springs football program was a hot topic on the national scale thanks to homecoming queen, turned overtime hero, turned overnight viral sensation, Kaylee Foster. But the Greyhounds weren't just a good story, they were actually good. And now they're actually stop number 17 on News 25's 25 teams in 25 days, ready to take on 2019 from the other sideline.
And now, News 25's 25 teams in 25 days, sponsored by Bienville Orthopedics.
Break down, let's move. Hey, we go. Work on one time. Work.
Yeah, I mean, 2 years ago, 4-7, obviously not what we were looking for. And then this previous year, turned it around, you know, hosted a playoff game against the reigning state champions. And, I mean, we're just looking for an even better season this year.
Following a 2-year postseason absence, Ocean Springs was every bit the contender in 2018, posting an overall mark of 7-5 to go along with that first home playoff game since 2014.
Going to the playoffs for the first time in 2 years, I mean, that was awesome. It's just definitely just a change of pace. Felt way better.
The Greyhounds really took off in their last non-district game of the season against George County, already dubbed homecoming queen earlier in the night. Then senior kicker Kaylee Foster shed her high heels for some cleats and buried the game-winning extra point in overtime.
I mean, it felt like the game lasted 4 hours. It was just back and forth, and then finally Kaylee kicked the winning extra point, and I was like, wait, was that Kaylee? And then I was like, oh my God, and then we all just rushed the field, and it was just the best feeling ever.
All of a sudden, Kaylee was the talk of the internet, even appearing on a national talk show. But as it turns out, that instant celebrity might have done more for the team than it did for her.
Well, you know, honestly, Jeff, that made us really come together. You know, and sometimes you need stuff like that in a football team, and you know, you're unknown, especially the first half of the year. You're unknown kind of what kind of team chemistry and how you're going to gel until you get put in situations that way. That was a remarkably, you know, positive event that happened, and it just seemed to, we just kind of took it and ran with it and kind of snowballed from there, and we started believing that we could beat anybody, and you know, it just brought us closer, so I was very pleased.
It's almost like that's still lingering around. But, yeah, I mean, that was definitely probably like the highlight of our team last year, but there was so much more than just that story.
That story culminated with a loss to Pearl in the first round of the 6A playoffs, despite a banner season from Micah Kelly, who rushed for more than 1,500 yards and 16 touchdowns as a senior before landing at the University of Toledo. This year, the big story has everything to do with home field advantage and the newly renovated Ocean Springs Grandstand serving as the team's home sideline starting in 2019.
I think for teams coming here to play, it's going to be just a little bit more intimidating to see this stadium in the back instead of the one we used to have.
Of course, the Greyhounds still need to give their fans something to cheer about, having set the bar pretty high last year. But right now, it's just business as usual at Ocean Springs, still trying to come down from that whirlwind of a season, and yet using that season as the reason why in 2019.
It definitely feels like after that year is just a clear shift in Ocean Springs football, and I'm ready to just take it home this year.
I think really almost every team on the coast, it's that first playoff game. I think we just got to break that ledge before, and you never know what's going to happen after that.
Maybe this year won't be, maybe we can just be fortunate enough to win a few and not worry about shipping folks to GMA and all that. But it was wild.
Led by their 25 seniors, the Greyhounds open up the 2019 season at home against Ridgeland on August 23rd. And for the record, Ocean Springs was going to be stop number 16 on tour, but Midnight Madness got canceled on Saturday morning, which is being replaced with another night practice sometime later this week. Stop number 23 on News 25's 25 Teams in 25 Days is the furthest away from our station here at WXXV, and it's really not even close. But George County is always worth the drive, especially when Lucedale is home to one of the best players in the entire state. McKinley Jackson and the Rebels both have a lot to prove in 2019, and they're proving it together.
And now, News 25's 25 Teams in 25 Days, sponsored by Bienville Orthopedics.
Montana, ready?
We get so familiar with each other in practice that it kind of gets a little testy when, you know, it gets a little testy when it's time to play somebody else. So I think we're to that point.
It might even be fair to say George County has been at that point ever since the end of last season, in which the Rebels went just 4-8 overall and missed the playoffs by just one game.
We usually give them like a week or two off after the season. I had our seniors come to me on Wednesday. We got through playing on Friday. Coach, we want to get back in the weight room today.
It's been like this since last year's last game against Meridian. You know, after that, we're like, oh, hey, we gotta get ready for next year. You know, no breaks and none of that. Just it's go time now. It's finally our year. To people know our names just because we're seniors. You know, just make a statement right here.
The Rebels needed to win their last 3 games of the year to crack the postseason, but they only won 2. The one that got away was a late October loss at Petal that still haunts them to this day.
A bunch of the guys, they're a little upset about last year because we've always had the team, you know, to make a playoff run and have a good team, and it really hurt us to lose that game.
It's not very hard to spot George County's potential in the practice field, largely in the form of McKinley Jackson and his 25 Division I offers.
It gets you a little excitement because, I mean, you're playing against a five-star recruit. You know, Alabama, Clemson, whoever you want to talk about is recruited in.
Technically a 4-star recruit, may as well be 5. Jackson narrowed that list down to a top 5 last week, including Alabama, as well as Auburn, LSU, Ole Miss, and Texas A&M.
I mean, it's never going to be easy. It's always bumps and bruises everywhere you go. This process is not easy. Recruiting is not easy at all. You know, there's a lot of ups and downs, but, you know, I'm very blessed to be here.
He kind of keeps that separate, and when he comes here, he's all about business with us.
While those SEC suitors eagerly await his ultimate decision, Jackson continues to take his primary role as one of George County's 22 seniors very seriously.
Well, I think it's huge for him, and all the guys on the team respect him. You know, he demands that respect by the way he plays and the way he carries himself, the way he handles his business every day. So I think that our guys see that, and they know if the guy that's got 20-something Division I offers is doing that, they need to do that too.
According to both ESPN and 24/7 Sports, Jackson is the #1 player in Mississippi's class of 2020. That clearly places him in the top 1% of high school football players across the country, and it's the same idea for the Rebels, now 1% closer to their first trip back to the playoffs since 2016 than they were the day before.
That's the objective every day. You know, we don't want to go back, take steps back.
We've had this mantra all offseason, 1% better every day. That's what we want to do. Find something, you get better at it every day. We go in the weight room or in here or in the meeting rooms or wherever you're at. Let's get 1% better every day. And our guys have bought into that this offseason, and we will continue to do that every day.
It's an opportunity of a lifetime to play your final season and get to the playoffs and have a successful season.
George County will take the field in less than 48 hours against reigning 5A South State champion West Jones. Kickoff for Friday's game is set for 7 p.m.
Jeff, we've thought about you, and we know how hard you're working and how much it means to these players, so we put a special little something together for you, buddy, for our 25
that's
and
what
25.
that was.
Let's take a look. Let's take a look.
We don't have a Gaucher High School football team. We have a Gaucher High School football family.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
It's nice to be on top, but it's hard to stay on top. So, you know, it's good to have a chip on your shoulder, helps you play better, and it's nice knowing people want to be us, want to be after us, want to be on top.
If there was ever going to be a year, it was going to be this year for us, to be the best team that's ever come out of Biloxi.
Since I've been here, the only thing we talk about is that spot on the wall. If you ask anybody when we go in the weight room, they're going to always point to that spot on the wall. That's what we're here for.
We get a chance to get a signature win every week, you know, because every week we're playing a top-tier program.
We're going to try to go back to state, hopefully win it, give all the glory to God. He'll be there with us every step of the way.
Family on 3, 1, 2, 3.
We had a pastor come in and speak to our kids last year about not wasting an opportunity, and we just stuck with it, and I liked it, and we're still rolling with it.
Have you seen the new Lion King movie?
I have not.
You know, in the Lion King, even in the old cartoon, you know, Rafiki gets the staff, and you know Simba's there not wanting to go back home, and he clocks him upside the head, and he goes, "What'd you do that for?" He said, "Don't worry about it. It's in the past."
We're not the same. The leadership is different. The leadership within the team is different every year, and that's really what makes it up.
People don't believe we can win, but we know we can win, and we believe that.
It's just something that was in his heart, I guess, and I know it's in our heart to want to win, and he just had to get it out of us, and I think he's getting it out of us right now.
On the flip side,
I've been in it long enough that once you get on the right roll, you don't have to be the best team in the state. You just got to be the best team that Friday night.
this year the big story has everything to do with home field advantage and the newly renovated Ocean Springs Grandstand serving as the team's home sideline starting in 2019.
You'd be hard-pressed to find a team that watches more film than we do.
I don't really feel like we're taking over a 1-9 program, and coming from the mindset of hoping we can do it to expecting to do it.
When you think of like a line or anything, they're on the hunt. They're ready to go get their meal. It's either you get the meal or someone else does, and we want to get the meal.
New coach, new team, play harder.
It's just the energies. It's something in the
something in the air.
Something in the air, man.
If I ever get to the point where I'm not nervous, I'll quit, because it doesn't mean that much to you if you're not nervous.
It really hurt us to lose that game.
So let's play football, Jeff.
I don't know who edited that, but
let's play some football. It's time.
That was something.